It was supposed to be a leisurely Sunday. I had just put out my DJI Mavic drone to fly a brief overhead pass for a community mapping project that I work with on a volunteer basis, and yes, I also just like flying the dang thing around and getting sunsets. I live in a quiet suburban development with tree-lined streets, decked backyards, and, unfortunately, Patricia Hemmings. Patricia is our HOA president. Not elected, mind you, just sort of volunteered after the other president moved to Florida. She patrols around the neighborhood in her khaki shorts, clipboard clutched in hand as if she's the sheriff of a small HOA Wild West. The second I let the drone loose from my fenced-in backyard, I knew there was going to be a problem. Sure enough, not even 5 minutes into the flight, I hear her telltale voice. Excuse me. Excuse me. You can't just fly spy equipment over our houses. I peered over the fence to see Patricia, arms crossed, phone already in her hand. Her Yorkie, Muffin, barked as if to stand up for her in court. It's a drone, not the NSA, I told her. And it's 100% legal. I'm flying over public airspace. That didn't matter to Patricia. She stormed off yelling, I'm calling the police. That's a surveillance device. You're violating privacy laws. I shrugged it off. She'd threatened to call the cops over everything from my Halloween decorations to my solar panels. But this time, she actually did it. Approximately 15 minutes later, I heard sirens. 2 squad cars arrived swiftly. I was already landing the drone. They drove onto my land as though I just fired missiles instead of a GoPro camera. Officer Daniels and Officer Ruiz got out. Daniels, I knew, he'd once helped me catch a raccoon trapped in my crawlspace. Ruiz was newer, eyes scanning the skies. Patricia ran up to them as if auditioning for Law and Order, HOA unit. That's him. That's the man. He's been spying on us. That drone was flying outside my upstairs window. I raised an eyebrow. You mean your bathroom window with fogged glass and a view into the woods? Ruiz asked if I could play it for him. I pulled out my tablet and played the last 10 minutes. It was what you'd expect, rooflines, trees, the community center, and a squirrel that got way too close to the camera. Officer Daniels wasn't impressed. But then something peculiar happened. Ruiz leaned down and leaned into Daniels' ear. Sir, did you inform me this drone comes equipped with a green tail light and red strobe? I nodded. Yeah, just add those on according to FAA requirements. Why? Daniels glanced over at Patricia, then back at me. Sir, is this your drone or borrowed from law enforcement? That's when the shoe dropped. Now, the thing Patricia was unaware of, and I wasn't even authorized to say. My brother-in-law, a police officer who works with the city's cybercrime division, 3 weeks ago had asked if I could do them a favor and fly a police drone occasionally in their off time for a sting operation. Nothing illegal, just casing the bad guy for exporting catalytic converters out of suburban basements. The bad guy's truck had been spotted twice driving past our neighborhood. So on Sundays, that drone was not exclusively mine. It had a city-owned uplink GPS, high-end camera, and designated restricted airspace waivers. I told the officers, I think we should take this outside. We stepped into my garage and I laid out the situation. Ruiz instinctively dialed up the drone ID and got back a confirmation ping from the system. It's live. That drone is the product of a multi-agency sting. This Karen just tried to report a federal surveillance device as a kid's toy. Daniels chuckled. You'd be surprised how often that happens. Here's the highlight though. As I was talking to you, the live feed from the drone, still live, picked up on something ridiculous. Patricia was on her phone with the suspect. She was yelling at someone about getting that junk out of her garage before the pigs started sniffing. Ruiz watched the footage with his mouth slightly open. You've got to be kidding me, he muttered. As it happened, the HOA president wasn't just infuriating, she was the girlfriend of one of the ring members. They'd been stockpiling stolen auto components in her yard shed, the one she complained about being just for gardening equipment. Suddenly, this was no longer a complaint about a drone. It was a criminal investigation. The following hours were surreal. Backup was called. A plainclothes officer arrived. Warrants were being drawn up in an hour. I stood there sipping a Coke from my cooler while the same woman who was trying to write me up for not power washing my sidewalk was being handcuffed on her front lawn. She was screaming. This is a mistake. I am the HOA. I know the mayor. Nobody gave a damn. The neighbors on the front porches. The cops reading her rights. And definitely not the drone, which continued to circle overhead, now capturing the takedown on video like something out of a Netflix true crime series. Later, I discovered she'd been letting her nephew stash hot parts at her place in exchange for cash. He'd promised her he'd gotten the parts from auto salvage auctions. Yeah, right? And me? The police thanked me. Even offered to buy a new drone battery to help me out. The evidence I gathered helped them bust not just Patricia but 2 other suspects a block away. And the icing on the cake? At the next HOA meeting, yes, we still had one. Patricia's name was officially removed from all leadership roles. A new president was elected. Me. They teach us that great power lies with great responsibility. I say, with a good drone, a good Wi-Fi connection, and the stamina to outlast a Karen, comes justice. HOA Karen called 911 on my drone, didn't know the feds were watching her. Hit like if you've ever met a Karen who thought the rules applied to everyone else. Subscribe for more HOA justice stories.